Hey, it's Joanne Musa, the Tax Lien Lady, and it is Ask the Tax Lien Lady live on Facebook, on my Facebook page at Tax Lien Investing Tips, and I'm here to answer your questions. So go ahead and type your questions in, and Nicole, if you're here, you could go ahead and give me any questions that we got ahead of time. And let me know when you come on, who's on and where you're from, so that I can better help you answer your questions about tax lien and tax deed investing. And I do want to let you know that now is the time of year for the Arizona online tax sales. And there are some changes this year, and I want you to know about them. Back in 2015, I did a course, a Done With You training, where you could actually look over my shoulder. I showed my screen as I went online and showed you how to register for these tax sales, how to figure out the best places to invest, and how to do your due diligence on the properties in the tax sale and pick the right properties to bid on. I actually purchased that year 3 liens in the Mojave tax sale that all redeemed without going to look at the properties. And this was land. These were buildable lots that I purchased. So I do know what to watch out for, and you can do this online from your computer. And guess what? I am updating that entire course. I was just going to do, like I have done in previous years, just do one training to update the course. The course is actually 4 lessons. They're pre-recorded lessons. The name of the training, again, is Done With You Arizona Training. And I have to do it when the tax sales are open. And right now, at least 2 of the Arizona sales are open for registration. And bidding ends the beginning of February on one of them. Actually, both of them. There's a few that end on February. There's some that open February 1st. There's some that end February 1st. There's some that end February 9th. And over the next few days, more of them will open. The last ones will open February 3rd, and they're not going to be open for long, because by the middle of February, everything is going to be done. Okay. So anyway, during this course, what I do is I go through how to register for the sale, and this is the pre-recorded training. I give you a lesson. And then I do a Q&A call, a coaching call every week. And we do that for 4 weeks while the tax sales are going on. And in the past few years, I've done maybe only one training to give you what the updates are. But because things have changed so much since I've done the first course in 2015, I'm redoing the whole thing. I'm updating the whole course. And anybody that has the course gets all the updates. So if you already have the course, you're going to get invited to these calls. You will be getting the new trainings. The first one, lesson 1, will come out on Monday. And then each Monday for the next 3 weeks after that, the lesson 2 will come out the next Monday, lesson 3 the next Monday, lesson 4 the next Monday. And on Wednesdays, we will have our coaching call. Most of the calls are going to be in the early evening. For me, 7:30 Eastern time. For people that are in Arizona on Mountain Time right now, it will be at 5:30. There is one of the calls that will be at 2 o'clock Eastern time. So for Arizona people, that will be 12 o'clock. But most of them are going to be in the evening. So if you don't have the course, it is a $497 course, and you get lifetime updates to it. Plus, you get a 30-day trial in the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator, because I want you to have access to Tax Sale Finder. which accelerator members have access to. We switched from tax sale resources to tax sale finders, which is more powerful. You can actually see the properties. You could scroll through them and decide which ones you want to bid on, and you could get a report on the properties that you're interested in. Okay. Tomorrow in the member training for people that are members of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator, we're actually going to go over how to use tax sale finders to do your due diligence for the Arizona tax sales. That will also be part of the Arizona training, but I will do a coaching for members on that tomorrow. If you're not, and Nicole has just put in the link for you to find out more about the Done With You Arizona training, if you're interested in that. Now, when you go to the training, the videos that are there are, I think I updated them in some of them in 2017, and then there's a 2019 video, and the original videos were 2015. So YouTube did something funny, and it's blocking my videos or not streaming them, and I don't know what's going on. So I am going to fix that, but the slides are there, the audios are there, and there will be new videos starting on Monday. So, all right, just wanted you to let you know about that. And go ahead and give me your questions, because I'm here to answer your questions. And we have quite a few people on today. So, so go ahead and give me your questions. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and of course, how I can help you. All right, Nicole, did we have any questions beforehand? And also, Nicole, you could put the link in there for anybody that's not a member of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator and wants to find out more. You could put the link in there for the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and put in your questions, and I'll get them here. I'm on StreamYard, by the way, doing this on StreamYard because it's easier for me to be able to see what you're commenting in Facebook and know what I'm saying because there's not a delay here. All right, so Nicole's taking a look to see if we have any questions ahead of time. And again, you guys, we've got 14 people on today so far that are viewing. So I know you guys have questions, or you wouldn't have come here. Hi, Al. Okay, you're interested in redeemable deeds in Delaware. I don't know if there's anything going on right now in Delaware. What I do to find out what's going on is I checked in tax sale finders. I used to use tax sale resources, and I switched over to tax sale finders, which is from the same company, but it's a little more powerful because I can actually see the properties that are in the sale. Tax Lien Profits Accelerator members get access to tax sale finders. And so they get to find out what's coming up across the country. But I don't know if anything is coming up in Delaware right now. There are only like 3 counties in Delaware. And the nice thing about Delaware is they have real short redemption times, the shortest of anywhere. Anywhere. I think a couple months, So that's the good thing about Delaware. And there's more information about Delaware in my state guide as well. And you could get that by going to the page that Nicole just put on there, where you could find out more about the membership. I think if you scroll down onto the bottom of that page, there's a link to get my state guide. And that state guide has a summary of what happens in every state. So it does also include Delaware. Okay. All right. So Al, nice to meet you. Thanks for Thanks for coming. Okay, if you're a winning bidder at the tax munitions sale in Delaware and the tax deed is not redeemed within 60 days, do I become the new owner of the property free and clear of any other liens as the new owner without any mortgage, judgments, and any other liens? So this is what you do. In whatever county that you're going to in Delaware, you need to have a conversation with whoever is doing the sale. And I forget who it is in Delaware, whether it's the treasurer or the sheriff or whoever actually does the tax sale, and ask them what and you wouldn't really it's over, but you want to ask them this before you purchase the deed, okay? Because it's a redeemable deed. And sometimes they give you this information on their website, but if they don't, you want to contact them and you want to ask them, what is the process once the redemption period is over? Normally they publish this and it's someplace on their website. Off the top of my head, I don't know. That is something I would do with on a member coaching call, or on laser coaching. I also have a coaching program. If you go to getprofitabletexliens.com, you could find out more about my coaching program. But that's something I would do in a coaching program or in the group coaching that I do for members, okay? Because that's something that I would have to look up myself. But the way to find out is you would call who's ever responsible for this sale and say, what happens when the redemption period is over? Normally they publish that information. It is available also in the state statutes, and they could point to you where to go to find out that information. They cannot give you legal advice, but they can tell you where to get the statutes that govern it, and you would find out what process you have to go through in order to get the deed. And it would not be, although it would be free and clear, any government liens would survive. And that's another thing that you ask them is what liens survive. And I will tell you right now, most government liens, all government liens will survive. The other thing that you have to watch out for is in some states, and this is changing in different areas of the country, property owner association and homeowner association liens might survive. That's changing in different areas, so you have to check that. But all other liens should go away. And once the redemption period is over and you go through whatever process you have to do, you don't actually have to go through a foreclosure process, but there is some process that happens once the redemption period's over. And sometimes there is a fee involved, okay? I'm not sure about the counties in Delaware. That's why you have to ask whoever is responsible for the actual process that you have to go through. But you will also have to clear the title. So you will get it free and clear of any liens except for government liens, but you don't get a warranty deed. Usually you don't get a warranty deed, you get a tax deed or a quit claim deed. And that will, and that you'll have to do a quiet title process. Okay. And Peter is asking, are the upset sales in PA this spring or is it the judicial sale? Okay, this is the best way to find that out, Peter. What county are you going to? Just Google that county. So if you're, what county are you in Allentown? Because Allentown could be in two different counties. It could be in Lehigh, or I think part of it might be another county too. So just let me know what county you're in. And what you do is you Google Tax Claim Bureau for that county. And then usually on their website, they post which sale it is. If it's the judicial or the upset sale. Because what happened is there were sales in the fall and some of them were postponed because of COVID. So even though I believe that the upset sale comes first, and I believe that's in the fall, and then the next spring is the judicial sale, but I always get that confused myself. So the best way to do it is to look on the Tax Claim Bureau's website, and they usually post it. And if they don't post it, you could call them and say, is this the upset sale or the judicial sale? And they usually post the properties right on their website, and when they post them, they'll either be posted as the judicial sale or the upset sale. So you'll know. Very important for you guys who are not in Pennsylvania. The big discrepancy between the upset sale and the judicial sale, and the reason why it's so important, you want to know which sale you're going to, is because in the upset sale, you are responsible for any liens or judgments on the property. They don't go away. But in the judicial sale, they do. Okay, so very important to know which sale you're bidding in. Okay. David says, after I win a tax lien sale in Arizona, do I need to do my own noticing before the redemption date? No, you don't, I believe, but you do need to hire an attorney to foreclose. You do need to hire an attorney, but it's not like Indiana and Illinois where the tax collector doesn't do all the work and you do. You have to do all the noticing. So you need an attorney before. Actually, in Indiana, you need an attorney when you get the lien. Okay. All right. So Peter's saying Hanover County. So yeah, I would just Google Hanover County Tax Claim Bureau, or Tax Claim Bureau, Hanover County, PA. And then go to their website and see what you could find there. Some counties have a lot on their website. My county does, Monroe County does. I'm not sure what Hanover County has. Yeah, and I think there's a couple of different counties that are in Allentown. It's like split up. Okay. And you're welcome. You're welcome, Al and David. And Peter, okay, got it. Okay, cool. Any other questions? Any other questions? And for you guys that are interested in Arizona, check out the Arizona course, because I'll be doing it all over again. And you could see what the 4 lessons cover on the link that Nicole gave you when we started. And Nicole, you can put that link in again for the Arizona tax sales for people to find out more about it, what's actually in that course, because it outlines, not only does it outline what's in each of the 4 lessons, but it also tells you when we're going to be doing those coaching Q&A calls for that course. There's going to be 4 of those as well, and they're live. The lessons are pre-recorded, but the coaching calls are live. Okay, the Q&A calls are live. All right, Alex says Chester County, PA. What do you want to know about Chester County, PA, Alex, or is that where you're from? And hello, Alex, good to have you on. Oh, we've got 16 people on now, including my assistant, Nicole. Thank you, Nicole, for being here. She's a really big help. And she just put in the link again for the Arizona Done With You training. So thank you, Nicole. So any other questions? You guys have questions about the training? You guys have the Arizona training? You guys have questions about anything to do with tax liens or tax deeds around the country? This is your opportunity to ask me your questions. Okay, I'm going to get a sip of my energy tea. I've got some pieces of lemon in my tea. Okay. Alex is asking, how do I search for tax liens in Chester County, PA? How do you search for tax liens? Okay, so PA is not a tax lien state. It's a tax deed state. So you wouldn't be searching for tax liens. The Tax Claim Bureau handles all delinquent taxes. But I don't know why you would be searching for tax liens in Chester, because it's a tax deed state. So the only tax liens in PA are liens that the Tax Claim Bureau has. And I apologize for if you guys hear background noise, but we've been out of propane for a week. And our heat just went off because of that. And finally, we got them to come and fill. We called them like a couple of weeks ago to come and fill our propane tanks, but they're just doing it now. So that's what, I don't know if you guys heard the beeping noise. It was their truck backing up into our driveway to fill our tanks. And then, of course, the dog's barking. So if you guys hear that, I apologize. All right. So we do have some questions. Okay. And Alex, clarify that for me, because I don't know what you mean by search for liens in Chester, PA, because you wouldn't search for liens, tax liens. I mean, if you're searching for liens on properties that are in the tax deed sale in Chester, you would go to the prothonotari's office and use their computers. Now, that's a little tough to do right now when some offices are closed in PA. So I don't know if Landex handles Chester, but Landex is a way that you could search the public records online for PA. And I don't know if it's landex.com or landex.net or landex.org. All right, but it's one of those. I haven't used it in a long time. You do have to pay a little bit of money but it's really cheap. And the other thing I use, like if there are links that you could use to do due diligence for county records, you'll find them in Tax Sale Finders, which Tax Sale Finders was the research tool I was talking about before that members to the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator get. And that's what I use to get links to things like that. Okay. So we do, and hi, Ray, how are you? And Vitaly, hi. Okay, so we have some questions. David is asking, when you purchase a property at a tax lien sale, talk about the pros and cons of purchasing through individually versus your LLC. Good question, David. There really aren't any cons to investing in your own name unless you're going to own the property, because now you have, if somebody gets hurt in the property, then you have liability. But nobody's really going to find your tax lien. Okay. So, and you don't have any liability with if you're the tax lien holder. Okay. Only when you're the owner of the property. And the con of using an LLC instead of your own name is that if you're investing in another state, some states are going to require that you register your LLC there. And some states are going to, like Indiana, is going to require not only do you have to register your entity there, but you have to get it certified that you don't owe, that it doesn't owe any taxes there. So that makes things a little more difficult, especially if you're under a time limit to register, and because that could take a couple of weeks. Okay. So sometimes it's better to invest in your own name in that case, in the case of Indiana tax liens. But I've invested in tax liens in my name, my husband's name, LLCs, limited partnerships, and trusts. Okay, you could use all of those. If you're actually going to a deed sale, redeemable deed sale, where you're going to own the property, or there's a better chance of you owning the property, then you're better off doing it in an LLC or a trust, or another entity. But the other, so that's basically the pros and cons. I don't know if there was something else that you wanted to know about, David. Let me know if that answered your questions, or you still have questions about that. Okay, Vitaly is talking about a Tennessee redemption. Do I need to do any noticing? No, I believe in Tennessee, and you could check with the county on this because each county might be a little different, but in Tennessee, once the redemption period is over, you just get the deed. Now, there is something that you have to do with the county, and you have to check with the county and find out, but I believe they do the noticing, and you just do an application or some kind of fee for them to do it. But you don't have to do the noticing that I know of in the Tennessee counties that I'm aware of. And Ray is asking, how much money might I need as a minimum for Arizona's sale? 1,000 to 5,000, depending on the county. Here's how it works in the Arizona tax sales. They all have like a minimum deposit, and that deposit has to be 10% of your budget. So there are some that have a minimum as low as $100, which means you have to have at least 1,000. And there's others that have a minimum of 500, which means you need 5,000. So it just depends on the county. The bigger counties like Maricopa used to have bigger deposits. I haven't checked today because they're not open yet. I haven't checked Maricopa yet to see what their deposit is because they're not open yet. Carlos, what is your exit strategy when purchasing liens? Most liens redeem, Carlos. There are like a couple of other exit strategies you could have, either selling the lien, assigning it to another investor, or foreclosing on it. Or it depends, it depends. Most of them are going to redeem if you do your homework. Gary, can all due diligence be done online for Arizona sale? Yes, it can be. It can be. Now, here's the thing. If you're in, it's always better to look at the property first, okay? Especially if it's a house. It's a 3-bedroom house. It's always better to look at the property first, or have somebody look at it if you can. But I have invested in the Arizona tax sales without looking at the property first. However, that was for vacant land that I could I could actually see the land on the map and see that it was in a development. There was building all around it. I got a very good view of it, because sometimes it's hard to tell things on a Google map with land. And in some areas, I wouldn't do that. Like here in Pennsylvania, where I live, I wouldn't do that, because there's rocky land, there's land that's swampy, there's land you can't have a septic system on. There's, too much of that here in PA. And I'd have to physically go look at the land and make sure, and the grade, make sure it's not a real steep grade. But in Arizona, what you want to see is that it looks flat, right? That there's building going on around it, it's got a road, that kind of stuff. And sometimes one of the properties I bought actually had a trailer on it, but the trailer wasn't there anymore. But that was okay. It was the land that was worth money, and it was redeemed anyway. So as long as it's good land, it's going to be redeemed. Okay, so you also want to check the value of it, make sure it's valuable and that it's buildable. So there's a little bit more you have to check on, but yeah, you can do it. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about, Vitaly. Can you spell it out for me. I don't know where in Tennessee you're talking about. What county? You have any experience in Missouri state buying liens? I haven't had personal experience in Missouri buying liens, but I have had subscribers that have bought in Missouri. Okay. How do you invest personally? Do you lean more toward owning or interest? It depends. In the past, I've leaned more towards interest. Okay. So I guess on the whole, because I've done most of my investing in New Jersey, more towards, so in there it's for interest. It depends on where. In certain tax sales, recently I went to a tax lien sale in New York. The cities can do what they want, even though most of the counties are sell deeds. So I went to a sale in a city in New York that's actually in a county that sells deeds. And there I'm more likely to get the property. So, but you also have to pay more for the lien. Okay. NVMTN is Missouri. Vitaly, I thought you were talking about Tennessee because you said TN. So that's Tennessee. I don't know what MVMTN is. Is that Missouri? Yeah, I thought you were talking about Tennessee, which I have personally bid at. I haven't actually got anything in Tennessee, but I have bid in Tennessee. I haven't bid at the Missouri sales personally. I have subscribers who have gotten stuff in Missouri. If the delinquent owner redeems the property, and in Missouri, I don't know about foreclosure. It's not like Tennessee. Before what I told you about Tennessee, you don't have to foreclose at the end. You don't have to do noticing at the end, but I'm not sure about Missouri. I'm not that familiar with Missouri. Okay, because Tennessee is a redeemable deed state, Missouri is a lien state, so that's the difference. Okay, and Al is asking, if the delinquent owner redeems the property within 60 days in Delaware, I understand that I get back my investment plus 15%. Do I receive 15% on just the total amount due? Delinquent property taxes, interest, fees, penalties, or 15% on the total amount due plus the amount that I pay as a premium. I think, did you check my state guide on that, Al? And did I not say that in the state guide? I think you get it on the total that you, but I'm not positive because I haven't personally invested in Delaware. So I'd have to check that, but I think you get that on everything that you pay. Because it's a redeemable deed state, and most redeemable deed states, you get that interest on everything that you pay. Now, the owner of the property, if they're redeeming it, the overage they get from that. So for instance, let's say there was $1,000 back taxes and penalties and all that, and you bid like 20,000, right, to get that deed. Well, there's a 19,000 overage, right, that the property owner can get when they redeem. They still have to come up with 15%. They still have to come up with $1,000 and 15% of $20,000, but they get that 19 to, that 19 comes back to redeem it. Okay, and they don't get it. It just comes right to you when they redeem. But I believe that's how it works. Okay. Ryan's asking, hi there, there's a tax lien certificate for a plot of land that I'm considering buying. It would be my first time ever buying a tax lien certificate. It's in Florida, but there are a lot of trees on it, pretty much covered with trees. Does that matter since it will most likely be redeemed? Or should those trees influence my decision to buy the certificate? All right, so let me just clarify this, Ryan. You're considering buying a tax lien certificate, not the property, right? You're not buying the tax lien certificate because you want to buy the property. Yeah, because I've had this question before where somebody wanted to buy a property and there was a tax lien on it, and they thought if they bought the tax lien, they'd have a better chance of buying the property, but that is not true. So, but you are asking me about buying the certificate, and who are you buying it from? Another investor or the county? Are you buying it from another investor or the county? And there's a couple things you have to look into when you're buying a secondary lien. And that is how many prior liens on there or how many subsequent liens. How old is this lien? And here's why. Because once the lien is 2 years old and you want to get the property, you have to apply for it to go into a tax deed sale if it's in Florida. Okay. So when you apply for it to go into a tax deed sale, you pay any other liens that are outstanding. So any prior liens and any subsequent liens. So that's why you need to know how old it is. And because it's a vacant property, it may or may not be redeemed. Okay, it may be redeemed, it may not be redeemed. Because there's trees on it, that really doesn't tell you one way or the other. The thing is, how buildable is it? Does it have road frontage? Does it have access to all utilities? You know, there's a lot of other stuff that you have to check. Okay. Carlos is asking, knowing now what you know, if you were to start from zero, where or how would you start, or what would you consider? Where or how would you start? Or what would you? I like Indiana. I like the commissioner sales in Indiana, and I like the redeemable deed sales. And I like the sales in some villages and cities in New York. I might still do New Jersey sales. The one thing I learned from this business, Carlos, is you must pay your taxes, your property taxes, before anything else. Pay your property taxes, even before your income taxes, because they will wait, man. Your income taxes will, they'll charge it through the nose. But in some states, you don't pay your property taxes. My state, Pennsylvania, sell your property right out from under you a year later. So, okay. Yes, Peter, Florida has deeds and liens. Here's what happens in Florida. They sell liens, okay? But after the lien is 2 years old, the person who buys the lien holder, doesn't just foreclose like they do in other states. They do a tax deed application where the property goes into a deed sale to satisfy their lien, okay? And that's what is a continual feed. For deed sales in Florida, they happen all the time, whereas the tax lien sales only happen once a year. Okay, so Ryan is clarifying for me his question. He does not want to buy the property. He's just buying the certificate from another investor. Okay, well, I do like buying secondary liens, and I have purchased from another investor, but you really have to do your due diligence carefully. And this is something I coach people on, because you can lose money on secondary liens if you're not careful. One way is that, for instance, somebody just sent me a list of 12 liens that they have for sale. And so I have, and they were in Duval County. And I have a coaching client right now who went to the Duval County deed sale, and everything got bid out of the water ridiculously high, more than it was worth, because everything is selling like hotcakes in Florida. And for a while, deed sales were the only deal in town because for months, there were no sheriff sales going on, right? So anyway, we did our due diligence, the initial due diligence, and only 2 of the properties were decent. Only one actually had a house on it that was in a decent area. They were in the other ones that did were very high crime areas. As a matter of fact, I think there was only one or 2 others that actually had a house on it in very high crime areas. Because this is Jacksonville. Jacksonville is not a good area to invest in. Very high crime. And these were in the worst areas. And most of them were lots that would have been very difficult to build on because they didn't have a road. You'd have to put a road in to build. And they were in high crime areas. They didn't have any value to them. Some of these lots were like valued under $5,000. So that's what you have to watch out for when you're buying this stuff. So my question to you, Ryan, would be, where in Florida is it? Do your due diligence and make sure it's buildable and make sure it's worth something. Because otherwise you could have a lien that won't redeem. And then what are you going to do when you do get the property? If nobody bids on it, when you do the tax deed application, then you spend more money on it to do the tax deed application, because now you have to see, that's the thing. When you do that tax deed application, let's say somebody just bought this lien in 2020 tax sale. So you can't foreclose on it for another 1.5 years. And when you do, you have to pay all those subsequent liens, because there would have been a couple more liens by then. You would have to redeem them to do your tax deed application. So let's say you only pay $500 for the lien. Well, that's another like $1,500 you might have, plus you have to pay any current taxes. It's another $1,500 you might have to pay. And then you do have to pay the county to do the tax deed application, which it varies by the county. And then what if the lot is only worth a couple thousand? Well, then you're out of luck. If it's worth 20,000, then you're okay. So, that's why you really have to do your homework. Okay. All right. So Ryan, I hope that answered your question. And Ray is saying, okay, sorry for not being more clear about my last question. And if I was to hire you to attend a sale with me and bid with an intention to win a bid, how much would I need? I am thinking probably around 15,000 to 20,000 or more. I am wanting to make sure that I have enough money. All right, to hire me for one VIP day is, I have to check and see what that is. Offhand, I don't know, right? Somewhere between, I want to say like $4,000 and that includes all my expenses to come out and go to the sale with you if it's a live sale. If it's online, I think it's a little bit less. And okay, so let me give you an example. A couple of years ago, I went with a client down to South Carolina. He bought 4 liens for $15,000. So he needed $15,000, and then he paid me. So let's say $20,000 altogether. And that includes a year of coaching too, because I want to make sure you know what to do once you have that. And I've got to prepare you before to go to the sale. So he did coaching with me before. He actually had a 3-day weekend with me. I did due diligence. I met him there, did due diligence with him for 2 days. prepared him before that. So we did coaching before that. And then I went to the sale. We did due diligence Friday and Saturday, took Sunday off. I went to the sale with him on Monday. Yeah, South Carolina is all live. So that would be a live sale. And Butch Thomas said trees are profitable. Well, Butch, that depends. We're talking about Florida. If they're pines, they're not profitable. If they're deciduous trees and they're big enough, they could be profitable. But you can't sell pine wood for burning. You know, scrub pines are worth nothing. Okay. Yeah, we're talking about Florida. All right. Yeah, you're welcome, Ryan. Moses. Hi, Moses. Okay, New York, would you still invest to own the property? I would think you make the interest, and there's such a crazy laws. Any villages on Long Island? Good. Yes, the villages on Long Island are good. I like the villages on. I haven't personally invested there. I've invested in Orange County. Nassau County has a big tax sale every year, but I don't like that. That's too competitive. But the villages can have their own sales. And Sussex County, not Sussex, Suffolk County villages can have their own sales. And they're done differently. And the cities in New York can do what they want. Now, forget about New York City. The 5 boroughs only sell to big corporations. And right now, by the way, everything's kind of stalled in New York because they're fighting the tax sales, which is going to really hurt the cities because they need that money. However, that's only like New York City. Outside of, and I don't know about Long Island, but outside of New York City, the other counties, the cities that have their tax sales, they're still going on. They're still going on. There's not too many lien sales though, because you know most of the counties are all deeds except for Nassau. But there are villages on Long Island that have their own sale. Garden City has their own. Amityville has their own, and there's others. You have to call everyone and see what they do. Sounds like a lot of work, but that's what you have to do. Hey, Paul, do you know the taxes we would pay as Canadians on our profits? I don't know. What is it, that you guys pay? But you would have to pay US too. So I don't know. I did have Canadian clients, but at the moment, I don't think I have any Canadians that are actively investing in the US. I do have somebody from the UK that's investing in the US. But I do have people that are Canadians that are members or subscribers, but I don't have any coaching clients right now who are investing from Canada. Yeah, but you can do it. A few years ago, I had a Canadian buy 3 properties in the Michigan tax deed sale. I don't know what his tax situation was. And I do have somebody I've known for a long time who's a subscriber who invests in Georgia. And I don't know how he does the tax situation either. Do I have a course for Indiana tax liens? No, I don't have a course just for Indiana. What I do have, Peter, is I have my Buying Tax Liens Online course, which covers the online sales in all the states that have online investing, including Indiana. And I do have training on Indiana in there. But I don't have a course like I do for Arizona. That's just on Indiana. No, I don't have that. Yeah, it does. There's not that many online sales in Indiana I can justify doing a course, but I don't know, maybe for the future. And my favorite sale in Indiana has not been online until this past year. And I don't know if it will be online this year. I don't know. I got to wait and see. Okay, Ray is asking, I am open to any state that I can make this work because I have been at this for over 10 years now and did Texas for years and got zero and went to Alabama more than once and always got outbid. And so Indiana commissioner sales, Ray, those are my favorite. Okay. Peter, how much would you need for a Michigan deed? Remember, these are very distressed properties, Peter. Some of them are really trashed, have a lot of garbage in them and need to be cleaned out. Okay. But 10 to 15,000 per property minimum. Unless you want land, then 5,000, 5 to 10 per property. Actually, I would even lower that, maybe 2 to 7 minimum for land. Ray, I was thinking maybe this is not a viable option for me to ever buy anything. That depends, Ray. If you just want liens, you could buy liens like crazy. And if you want properties, I'm telling you, the Indiana commissioner sales, you will get properties. You'll have to buy a few liens, but you will get properties depending on where you go. And the redemption period is only 4 months. So it sounds like 25,000 or more might be enough to bid. In South Carolina, yeah. Oh, yeah. And even in Michigan on the deeds. And in the other states, like in Indiana, that's awesome. You probably get 5 liens for that. Yeah, in the lien states, you get a lot for that. In some lien states. Yeah, it depends, right? Whether you want to focus on Indiana or Michigan. It looks like you want the properties. So Ray, I would do I think you're a member, right? I would get into the members thing tomorrow, get some coaching, group coaching. And then if you want more coaching, just do some coaching with me, the laser coaching, because what you spend on that, if you decide you want to do something with me later, like if you decide then you want me to do a VIP day or VIP 3-day weekend with you, that counts towards that. Whatever you spend on coaching goes towards that. That's how the guy that I went to South Carolina with, that's how he did it. He first hired me to coach him, and then we put that money toward his VIP 3-day weekend. Okay. And Nicole, you could put that. We're going to end pretty soon, so I'm just going to take because I didn't realize that it's almost 3 o'clock. I just love answering your questions, and we have 20 people on now, so that's great. So I will answer the questions that we have in there now. If you have a question that you didn't put in yet, save it for next week. I will be back for next week. And yeah, Ray, if you want to become a member again, you could start there too, because you do get a discount on the coaching when you're a member. And Nicole, you could put a link in there for the coaching for the laser. Get profitabletaxliens.com. Okay, let's see what other questions I might have missed. How much would you need for a Michigan deed? Did I answer that question, Peter? I think I did. I'd say at least 10,000, maybe a little more if you want a decent house. Most of them are going to be distressed. Most of them are vacant, have been vacant for a while, or have been trashed. Okay. And if you want something nice, better than that, you might need like, as much as 15, 20, 25 for, it's like anything goes, really. And here's the thing that's been happening in Michigan as well as Florida and a lot of states. Prices have been going through the roof. Real estate's been going crazy. So prices are going up. And same thing's happening at sales. People are paying more money. And here in PA at the deed sales, I'd say about 30,000 could get you something. And it depends on where I am in Allentown, there's I think less available and probably more pricey than where I am. But about 30,000. And if you want something nice, more. 30,000 get you a distressed property. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Nicole put that link in for you. Yeah, if vacant and trashed is not a problem, as long as it can be fixed and made livable, then Michigan is a good place for you, as well as Indiana. Michigan's probably a little bit better as far as resale value and what the property's really worth. I'd say Michigan is probably better than Indiana. Yeah, and if you're looking for something that you could live in after you fix it up, yeah, Michigan, if you don't mind the cold. I kind of, I'm getting older. I want to go south. But Indiana's cold too. So, yeah. Let's see. Did I miss anything, Nicole? Okay, Paul said, accountant said U.S. is really discouraging foreign land ownership by very high taxes. Depends on the state, Paul. You mean, are you talking about high income taxes or high property taxes? And that is totally dependent on the state. Oh, unfortunately, Brian says he came in when I was mentioning my site and didn't hear it clearly. Please restate it. Nicole put the link in the comments for you. She put a link right on my taxlienlady.com site. taxlienlady.com/book/get profitable tax liens laser coaching. She put in the direct link to the site. I gave a redirect that goes directly there to the link that she put in. If you just go to getprofitabletexliens.com, it goes to the same place that Nicole put in there to the comments. Okay, and Paul was talking about income taxes, and yeah, and that okay, so that doesn't depend on the that is the federal government, but your income taxes, I'm not sure about that. It depends on what you do. It depends on it. And that, see, I'm not a CPA, I'm not an accountant, so I'm not an expert on that. I could tell you about property taxes, but not income taxes. So, yeah, you got to talk to a CPA about that. All right. All right, everybody, thank you so much. It's 3:00. This is the first time I think we've been a whole hour. It's been great. Thanks for being here. I think we will be back next week, right, Nicole? Is next week the 3rd? Let me check real quick. Oh, I don't have my calendar up. We're not here the last Tuesday of the month because I try to take that week off. And is that next week? Are we going to be not here next week? Or is that the week after, Nicole? Let me know. Is next week the last week of the month, the last full week of the month? Are we off next week or are we on next week? So, yeah, Nicole says, I don't think so. We will not be here next week. Okay, thanks, Nicole. Thank you. So I will see you guys the first Tuesday of February. All right. However, even though I try to take off from Facebook Lives and other things on the last week of the month, we will be starting the Arizona course the next week. So that will be starting next week, and the first lesson will be up on Monday, and Wednesday night, we will be doing our first Q&A for that. Yes, this Thursday, I will be doing a Facebook Live inside the Investing for Success group, and that will be a little mini training. So let me know what is your biggest challenge, not now. Go into the Investing for Success group, come join that group. Now, to join that group, you have to answer the questions and agree to the terms for the group. People answer the questions and they forget to agree to the last question. They forget to say, yes, they agree to the terms, and I can't let them in, or Nicole can't let them in. So agree to the terms. They're very simple. The terms are basically just be nice. Don't try to solicit people. Don't say anything mean or nasty or use bad words or call me names. People have done that, believe it or not. And then we'll let you in. And when you join that group, we have. Then you could tell me in there, what is your biggest challenge to investing in tax liens? And I'll do a training on it on Thursday at 2:00. I will be there this Thursday, but not next Thursday. Okay, everybody. Okay, Ray's asking, can you post that other group for Nicole? And Nicole can post that when we're done, but I am going to sign off and have a really great, I can't even talk now, rest of your week. All right. And I hope to see you in the Arizona training and in the Investing for Success group. Bye now.